Hey friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Leo here. So I just wanted to give a little bit of context as to why I decided to name this channel Boast in Weakness. And it really comes down to a particular phrase from St. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. And I'll just read it here just for a little bit of a reflection. So St. Paul says, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me.'" And I think that's really the motto that, with God's help, I strive to live by, making myself weak in the flesh, in the spirit, so that the Lord can dwell within me, so that I don't put up any walls, any spiritual walls in my heart in which that impede the Lord to enter. And so I just think about, I know we hear the cliche saying of, looking at the glass half full or whatnot, but if we kind of take a similar analogy of, if I don't empty my cup, I cannot be filled with God's grace. If I don't declutter my surroundings, my spiritual well-being, if I don't declutter that, if I don't cleanse that, if I don't just allow myself to be possessed by the Spirit, I impede the Lord from entering with all these unnecessary things, material things, all these aspirations for wealth, for pleasure, for honor, for power. If I don't rid myself of that, I can't effectively let the Lord fill me, fill my cup. And so that's why this channel is a constant reminder to me that I need to boast in my weakness, that I need to boast in my vulnerability. Because Christ himself became vulnerable to the fullest extent by being crucified on a tree, hanging naked. How much more vulnerable can you get than that? And so this channel is just a constant reminder for me, and hopefully for those of you watching, that let's rid ourselves of these things that overly occupy our lives, that distract us from what's really important. Allowing the cup of our lives, of our spiritual lives, to be filled by God's grace. That's all he wants. To enter through the door of our hearts and fill us, so that our joy may be complete. And I think that's really the main takeaway. Bishop Barron regularly reminds us that our life is not about us. Even though we feel like we're special, like we're unique, and don't get me wrong, we are. We're definitely unique in our own way. God gave us our own unique gifts. But we shouldn't overly magnify those gifts in a egocentric way. I mentioned in a couple videos ago, I believe, that we need to give those gifts away. Because the law of the gift says that we receive in the measure that we give away. So it's giving away of our gifts, clearing the path in our heart, clearing up some space in our heart to continually receive God's grace. And in receiving that grace, continually giving it away to those around us. And that's how we are filled. By continually making ourselves weak, so that God can come in and fill that void. Like St. Paul also says, I wish to be crucified with Christ, so that it's no longer I who live, but he who lives in me. So that it's not my hands and my feet, it's God's hands and feet that take possession of this temple, of this body that does not belong to me. The only thing that belongs to me is my soul. This body belongs to God. At some point, I have to return it to God. And at some point, at Jesus' second coming, we will all get our bodies back. So hopefully, I can maintain, hopefully, a healthy body prior to me passing on to the next life. But again, the point is, I wish to be crucified in Christ, with Christ, so that it's no longer I who live, but God who lives in me. Life is not about me. As much as I want to make it about me, as much as I want to make my life comfortable for myself, as much as I strive to achieve, I'm in the US, so to achieve the American dream and live comfortably for the rest of my life, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is to daily carry my cross to my own crucifixion, so that I can hopefully, God willing, one day also rise with Christ. And hopefully, one day he can tell you and me, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into your eternal rest. So, again, just to reiterate, the reason why I named this channel Boast in Weakness is to regularly strive to live in that weakness, to allow the Lord to enter because of that weakness, to not put up walls, to not be overly confident, to not be cocky, to not think that we have this all figured out. We don't. Our little minds cannot fathom what God has in store for us. No, not only in this life, but God willing, once we actually arrive in our eternal home. So remember, I'll say this verse one more time, just end this video with that, and then I would just encourage you to ponder on it a little bit, reflect on it. Every time I read it, I definitely feel the burn. I definitely feel the burn inside of, oh gosh, literally just a few minutes ago, I felt empowered. I felt overly cocky. I felt like I didn't need God. But then I read this and it's just a constant reminder that I do. I cannot do anything on my own. Without God, I am literally, and I mean literally in the literal sense, I am a speck of dust. Because from dirt we came, and to dirt we shall return. So I'll just read it one more time, my friends, and hopefully it kind of inspires you a little bit. It gives you a little bit of hope that maybe we just need to let go. I think you may have seen I've seen several bumper stickers that say, let go and let God. And so maybe that's just what we need to do. Let go and let God fill this void. Because that's when our joy will truly be complete. So St. Paul says, again, this is his second letter to the Corinthians. He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Friends, thanks so much for watching. Please remember that I'm praying for you. And if you would, please also say a little prayer for me. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks.